Duality, the world of opposites, and how to end it. We live in a world of opposites. Everything around us appears divided into extremes. If we know tall, we also know short. If we know success, we also know failure. If we know love, we also know hate. The human mind constantly moves between these opposites, and whenever conflict arises, we instinctively rush toward the opposite extreme, believing it will cancel the first one. This is how duality operates. But here is the strange part. This world of opposites is the creation of our own minds. It happens because our mind lives either in the past, reliving its memories, or in future, expecting something. This is why the mind compares, judges, remembers, or anticipates. Otherwise, the reality itself, the present moment, is absolute. It simply is. For example, when we look at a shirt hanging on a shelf, do we immediately say, "The shirt is not wet"? No. Without reference to the past or future, such a statement never arises. The shirt simply exists, and there is nothing to talk about it. The moment comparison begins, duality begins. The duality brings conflicts, making the mind uncomfortable. In order to find a place of natural calmness, it tries to resolve the situation, and the obvious solution is to introduce the opposite extreme to the current situation. Using one extreme to fight another may produce quick results, but it often comes at a cost. A great amount of emotional energy is generated whenever we violently swing from one extreme to another. Love becomes hate. Attachment becomes rejection. Desire becomes disgust. And the faster the swing, the greater the inner disturbance. But there is another way to live, a way beyond constant opposition, where no effort is needed to force things to happen the other way. Instead of introducing an opposite to cancel a condition, we can simply allow the condition to dissolve. Not replace it, not fight it, just stop feeding it. This transforms our world from relativity into clarity. So how do we end duality, the world of opposites? 1. Do not introduce an opposite. Suppose you deeply love someone or consider them a close friend. One day, they disappoint you. The immediate reaction is often to create the opposite emotion, hate, because this is what our mind understands, to cancel out anything with its exact opposite. But there is another possibility. You do not have to move from love to hate. You can simply move from love to no love. Not loving someone is not the same as hating them. Hate is another attachment, another extreme. Absence of love does not require the presence of hate. 2. Some conditions end naturally. Not everything needs intervention. Some conditions disappear on their own when left undisturbed. If a shirt is wet, leave it alone. It dries naturally. If water is hot, it cools with time. But when we forcefully introduce opposites, conflict begins. And conflict consumes energy. Patience, in many situations, is intelligence. 3. Attention gives things psychological life. Certain conditions survive only because attention continuously feeds them. If a shirt has a permanent stain and nothing can remove it, constantly focusing on the stain only strengthens its psychological presence. but attention can be withdrawn. You may ignore the stain, or ignore the shirt entirely. The moment attention disappears, the psychological burden weakens. What is not fed slowly loses power. 4. The observer itself is temporary. Every experience depends upon an observer, but the observer too has limited time. Eventually, attention fades. The experiencer disappears. And with it, the world of psychological opposites also dissolves. Perhaps duality survives only as long as we continue feeding it through resistance, comparison, and attachment. And perhaps freedom begins the moment we stop creating opposites altogether.